Welcome back, family, to the Back Issue Book Club. My name's Greg, and that's Rich. Rich, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I like your new shirt there.
Yes, picked it up at Syndicate Comics. They were just unpacking it from the box, and I walked over and went, snatch. I mean, I paid for it. Don't get me wrong. But
Oh.
I did not let it even get to the display
shelf.
for all the shelves or the hangers or wherever they put the T-shirts.
Nice. It's been a while since I got a new shirt, but I'm rocking the Iron Man. But that has nothing to do with what we read this week.
No,
We read Silver Surfer Requiem by J. Michael Straczynski and an artist.
and an artist.
Oh, dearie me.
Sorry.
That's all right. Wow. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting this.
What, the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I hear the word Requiem, it comes to my mind, Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just want to say real quick, Stinker Bun. This was one of Stinker Bun's suggestions, so thank you for that. You too can make a suggestion anywhere on YouTube through comments, but you can only vote on Patreon what we're actually going to do. So you can literally steer our work, what we put out, our content, by visiting patreon.com/TeamOhana. Ding. Yep. So I think we both were saying, we never really delved into any Silver Surfer beyond any books where he happened to show up as an ancillary member or a side character. Nothing really focused on him. Is that right?
Yeah, I've read Fantastic Fours or something else where Silver Surfer was in it, but not a Silver Surfer series or a Silver Surfer line or let's see, this book right here. Damn it! I give up.
I can't see the book.
For years, I've been trying to get it right. I still can't do it. But yeah, I've never read a Silver Surfer series story arc unto himself. I knew what his origin was, but this was my first.
Yeah, I knew he was, a Herald of Galactus, and he's the scout to find planets.
And I knew that he did that to save his own planet and the woman that he loved.
I didn't know that. That was new for me. Okay. So we kind of show up in the beginning of this series. It's a 4-part series. I guess post a lot of Silver Surfer happenings. He's extremely familiar with Earth and Earth's heroes. We actually start off with the Fantastic Four, and I've never read really any Fantastic Four either, so maybe you can answer this question. But Ben is very chatty. He kind of reminded me of you, actually.
I knew where you were going with that, but yeah, I do like to consider myself higher intelligence than Ben. But yeah, I mean, I'm not Reed Richards, but
yeah,
you wouldn't have to say the green blinky lights, the red, the green planet with the red blinky lights. But yeah, he's definitely the muscle of the group, and he grew up on Yancey Street, which is why you see that that reference all the time, which I believe is in Brooklyn. He's your average football, high school football guy that just pals around, but he took a liking to and became friends with the smart guy Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So I was surprised how chatty he was, and maybe that's how he always is. I don't know, but I forget how it starts exactly. They're talking, but eventually, Johnny Flame. What do they call him?
Storm.
Just Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Just Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny leaves and
Sue's brother.
Right. He's like, Reed, I think you better come look at this, because he sees, I guess, Silver Surfer out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it kind of freaks him out, which would freak out anybody to just see a silver man on a...
No, they knew who it was. I mean,
yeah, but...
He had saved Earth multiple times. I mean, in the story arc 49, 50, he actually, helps the Fantastic Four save Earth. Galactus is there to destroy Earth. he works with the Fantastic Four and other heroes throughout.
Yes.
Different comic books. So they're friends. They're very close friends.
Yeah, that's not what I guess. I think what I was getting at was he was just surprised to see him just sitting there. I assume,
Yeah.
and that's why he was like, Reed, you should come see this."
Yeah.
In a kind of I'm surprised way, and then Norrin asks them to just talk to Sue and Reed, and then after a while, they come out crying, and Sue is crying for like 2 days straight.
Yeah.
And then finally, I guess they reveal to Ben and Johnny that Silver Surfer is dying.
Mm-hmm.
And their Reed was like going for days and days trying to use all the science he knows to try to figure out a way to prevent or slow down the
degradation of the nanotech, whichever
shield
you would want to say.
Suit.
Which is thousands of years technologically beyond Reed Richards.
Which is insane. But I guess that's what you get when a planet eater is like, "You're blah, blah."
Yeah. One of the Celestials.
Is he a Celestial?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I always wondered about that. Anyway. So yeah, he leaves and he's like, I'm going to go see this beautiful Earth that's become my second home now. Mm-hmm. And after that, I'm going to go back to Zenla, my original planet that I saved in the beginning.
Right. Which he had actually completely forgotten about. Because when he became a Herald of Galactus, his memories and everything were kind of wiped.
That's right.
And it was only by interacting with humans and the Fantastic Four and everything else which kind of
unlocked. Yes, you're right.
Unlocked those memories, right.
That's right.
But I've just found interesting was like he was talking about how beautiful the Earth is. And I'm like, this guy has got access to not just the galaxy, the universe. Okay, I'll say that Earth was beautiful 1,000 years ago, but after everything that mankind has done to it, I really wouldn't fly around going, "Oh wow, look at all look at that toxic sludge, yay! look at the smog over Los Angeles. It's such a beautiful planet." I don't consider it a beautiful planet anymore in comparison to the possibilities of every planet in the universe.
I would push back on that and say we don't know what's out there in the universe. It could all just be ass, like giant butt planets, I guess. But
now I'm just picturing like a giant peach rotating with a butt crack line going down the middle.
Emoticon, yeah. Yes, or emoji. Wow, what year am I from?
Welcome to Planet Adel.
And also, the world still is beautiful. If you still have the Grand Canyon, you still have all these like non-human populated areas that I would consider beautiful still, like there's lots of Iceland and Greenland, and that's just my opinion.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I don't even think I think there are features on other planets within our own solar system that are more beautiful. I mean, Olympus Mons on Mars is 3 times higher than Everest.
That is the tallest point in our solar system, yes. I read that in a book tonight with my son as we were going to bed.
And I would not want to try to fly a kite on Neptune, where the winds exceed 1,000 miles an hour.
Yes, and there are diamonds the size of vehicles circling in the atmosphere in Uranus as well. Uranus. Hey, that's what the butt planets will be called.
Yes. We have 5 planets in our solar system: your anus, my anus, her anus, his anus, and our anus.
Guys, you see this? You tune in, you get some highbrow comedy here.
Imagine tuning in late going, what the hell is going on with these people?
I thought
supposed to be Silver Surfer.
I think the Silver Surfer represents toilet paper in a pragmatic fashion. Or anyway. All right, enough butt talk.
Yes, exactly.
Where were we? Oh yeah, he's decided to, the memories of his home planet were unlocked by being with humankind and seeing their resolve and how they are. So he starts off on his journey, and he encounters, I guess he doesn't get too far from the Baxter building over to Queens,
Well, yeah. Right.
Can't be that, relative for a Silver Surfer. It's
Go anywhere in the universe, I make it one county.
right. So
Manhattan to Queens.
So he sees Spider-Man, which is curiously depicted with black eyes. I didn't know what that was all about, but
I don't remember off the top of my head.
he was fighting this like mech thing, and struggling with it, and about to turn it up to 10 to deal with it. And,
Yeah, it was some guy that had stolen some high-tech military hardware.
it was very slippery. Like it was, so his webbing wasn't doing much.
Right.
And then Surfer shows up and is like, "Bing."
Yeah, kills the guy, by the way. I didn't see the guy getting out of that one.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. And then Spider-Man, in typical fashion, is his jokey, chatty self.
Yeah, let's go check out a movie, get a beer.
Yeah, he was like, let's hang out or whatever. And then
I like the Team Canada joke instead of the Team America joke.
I was surprised to see that. Yeah, I don't know why, but I was like, oh, interesting reference.
Yeah, well, they fight for 20 minutes to spend the rest of the movie apologizing for it.
Right. So eventually he starts, going away. Silver Surfer does, and Spider-Man's like, "Oh, yo, I'm running out of buildings here, bro. I'm trying to catch up with you." And he finally,
Seriously, do you just want to talk? So
yeah,
I was like, yeah, I do actually.
yeah, exactly. So they make it.
Peter has a future as a bartender, apparently.
It's true. Yeah, that was very bartender of him. So he stops. Peter makes it to the top of a building, and they kind of just hang out up there for a few minutes, talking about things. And he finally tells him, I'm dying.
I don't think he said he was dying. He said I can show you, I can transfer a portion of the power cosmic, not the cosmic power, because he corrected Peter.
Yes, Peter said that.
And Peter's like, well, not right now. And he said, well, this will be your only chance, because I won't be able to do it. That's as close as he actually says. It doesn't say I got X amount of days, but it's now or never.
Oh yeah, he did say that. Before that, though, they were talking, and he was like, basically, he was like, why? I've seen the galaxy. I've seen so many species. Why is it that you guys constantly try to kill each other? You put up these borders.
Yeah.
You put up these essentially artificial or meaningless differences. And what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, and he even goes right down to like, you'll kill each other for any reason, and he runs through all of them and finishes with fashion. And I'm like, yeah, they'll kill you for sneakers.
Yeah. So it was at this point in this book that I was starting to really, I was like, oh shit, all right, this is a deeper read than like an ongoing for me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really liking it. And he challenged Peter. He was like, what can we do to improve? Or maybe was it him that asked him, or was it Peter who asked Silver?
Well, Peter said, well, you got all this power. Why don't you do something about it? And Norrin Rad's like what?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then he started going over, if.
Well, you could do. No, that ain't going to work. Well, what about. No. And what about. No, some people like Brussels sprouts. And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah. And they started even talking about like, if they give, if they distribute the wealth to all the poor people, then the people who were depending on it in the industry will make the industry collapse, and the money will become meaningless. And there were a lot of nuances that I was surprised and really pleased reading. Like, it was good writing for me.
But it did show, though, that Peter is a very intelligent person, but it's mainly a scientific type of intelligence, and he really was struggling with a sociological method to cure humanity.
Yep, and he never got to an answer, I don't think.
He did one at the end, where just do what you did for Mary Jane for everybody else. But
right, so piggybacking off what Richard said earlier about, I'll give you 5 minutes with the power cosmic. He was like, not me. If I have to do it now, then give me 5 minutes. Let me go get Mary Jane because it's her birthday.
Yeah. And I cannot afford anything in that jewelry store. I am cheap as hell. I don't have any money. So just give her a ride on your surfboard. We'll call it a day.
Yeah. So she gets on the surfboard and goes across the galaxy with the power cosmic for 5 minutes, but she said it felt like 20 hours or something.
Yeah.
Or 5 hours maybe or something. I did not expect to see Mary Jane pop up in a Silver Surfer book.
Yeah. And I didn't like the way that she was drawn. It didn't look like Mary Jane to me.
I'm not a huge fan of most of the artwork in this book.
Yeah, okay. It's very watercolorish.
Not for me.
Yeah, not for me either. I struggled with a lot of scenes. Look, like, what the hell am I looking at? I'm like tilting my head. I'm like, is this abstract art? Is this Momoko on a bad day? What am I looking at?
Yeah, it's definitely not I can appreciate it, and I could tell it was it looked at least Alex Rossian with its like actual, like it looked like it was actual paint on a physical media. So I can appreciate that, but it's not for me.
And I'll be perfectly honest, I cannot draw for anything, so far it's wrong for me to criticize somebody who's still 1,000 times better than I ever will be. However, it's not as good as I've seen in other books. So
Sure.
while that person is extremely talented, their style is not for me. There, okay? That's, I think, my best way of saying it.
Absolutely. That's allowed. You're allowed to have an opinion on the way something looks to you.
Yeah, but at the same token, I don't want to make it sound like, yo, man, that guy just sucks. I don't.
Yeah.
He sucks, man. He should be drawing comic books, but he sucks. No, he doesn't suck. It's just his style is not for me.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly clear for both of us. So she does that. She comes back. She's like, holy shit, Peter. And then I think that's when Peter gets the idea, like you said, well, what if we can just, give everybody a few minutes with...
Or a few seconds
to be the what they could see the potential to be, right? Was that the word I think he used?
Yeah.
Which was really a great answer. It was a really cool way to put it. So Silver Surfer finally is like, all right, I can do it. It's going to hurt a little bit, but I can do it. And he just kind of does what this was part of the abstract part. I couldn't really see what was going on, but he imbues Earth's inhabitants with the power cosmic for 5 minutes, and we never really saw the result of that, I feel like.
Yeah, in any book, in anything whatsoever, apparently mankind is just too far gone. They just don't care.
There was a part where they were showing like an arguments between people, and after they were arguing, they hugged or whatever, and he said most people were able to feel it and deal with it, but then there were some people who were thought they were, I forget the wording, but like even them it couldn't reach or something like that.
Well, look, and I'm going to put this into context because I know somebody that kind of like froze when they saw this. So I imagine that there's circumstances out there where people were screaming at each other, fighting, drop-dead fights on September 11, 2001, and in the corner of their eye, they saw the news on the TV and stopped. And they stopped. I imagine that, there were people that were arguing, saw the 9/11 happening, and immediately stopped. And everything in the world that they thought was important was not important in the grander scheme of things. They sat there on the couch, they held each other, they cried, they mourned, they feared for their family, their friends, people that were dying in the World Trade Center. They felt like their lives were changed. 3 weeks later, they were arguing with each other again.
Yeah, that's true.
So, human nature, the term human nature is there for a reason. We are a very selfish species. And it's very rare for people to have a permanent change.
Yeah. So. I mean, I've been trying to lose weight for years.
Don't worry. You have. I found it. I found it. It's right here. If you ever want it back, just let me know.
No, I've been trying to lose weight. I can't change.
It's a lost and found theory, the way I think about it. The supermarkets, they keep selling the same amount of food. So if somebody is on a diet and they losing weight, the supermarket still sells the food. Somebody else is buying that extra food up. So
that's true. It's like the law of conservation of fat.
Yeah. So in my opinion, though, the grand, glorious gesture that Silver Surfer did in the long run, I think did nothing. I think that it has to be... The only way to unite humanity, believe it or not, I think was actually touched on in The Watchmen, and I believe that. That if there was some universal threat that outweighed everybody's petty differences, that was long-lasting, and people had to band together forever to stay against. I think that would help. And the idea in Star Trek was once they found out that there was life on other planets and other systems, that united humanity. Even stupid stuff like Independence Day.
I was going to say, that was the one I was thinking of. That's when all the countries started working together.
But, I mean, it's like the military of the United States. You get Army and Navy and Air Force and Marines in the same bar, there's going to be one hell of a fight. But you get one person outside of the country push the Army guy, and all the branches will get together and go, no, this is our family. And we will gang up to beat you up.
It's funny. It's like we've talked about that. I can't remember if it was on a show or a book or whatever, but we've had the conversation before where you would like, you and your sister would fight all the time, but if somebody messed with you or her, then you or her would be like, excuse me, back to fuck up.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it really is.
So it's like a similar thing. Maybe that is because, maybe all that is because humans are like that, which is odd. And I wonder if humans have made it this long because they have that tenacity in a way, or ability to forget and move on. I don't know.
I'm wondering if actually part of us craves conflict. I mean, Loki in the Avengers said that we crave subjugation. We look, to our leaders. We want to be led. We say we want, freedom, but at the same time, we're constantly electing people to do things and speak on our behalfs. And we want peace, but we're always finding a way to have a conflict. And you can't just say it's governments and everything else, because how many times have you been driving down the road and you get into you're screaming at your windshield, thinking that the guy in front of you can actually hear it.
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, what did it cost you? 3 seconds in your journey? So You're willing to get that aggravated and that scream that much because you're now delayed 3 or 4 seconds of your life. We kind of, as a species, we got some problems, man.
That's why I love therapy. So, all that to say, as he's zipping away then from Peter and his last thing, he's about to leave Earth, I believe, and he hears a voice, and it's Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was like, oh, hey, that's cool. Essentially, the long and short of it is that Doctor Strange was like, hey, Reed reached out to me because, if one doctor can't figure out something, he pings
a consult.
Gets consult from all the other essentially the Illuminati.
Yeah,
to
some Magneto and Professor X. And
put their heads together to try to figure out what's wrong, and they still couldn't figure it out. But he did present him with like an energy drop.
Like a little flame, I think he called it flame of something or other.
Okay, yeah. It was enough it was the size of like an orange sitting in your hand.
Yep.
And said, here is the memories captured of all the happenings, all the music, all the literature, everything that has happened on Earth since you first appeared here and saved it.
Yep.
So you can... Go ahead.
None of this would have even happened if it weren't for you.
Correct. So you can have this now, and like he bonded with it, I guess, somehow, I guess energy went into him, so that he would always have that and be able to reflect on his help that he gave Earth.
I wonder if the song Macarena was in there, because that would really be torture. You're like going through the universe on a surfboard, that song just on a loop.
I can answer this question.
He's gonna look up the release date of Macarena.
I also thought to myself, I wonder if the songs that I write are on there. Dandy Chickens, everywhere you listen to music. Thank you. 1993, Macarena came out.
And this book series came out, and this kind of answers the question of when this book series came out. It looked like around 2011, 2012 artwork.
Oh, no, it was 2007, I remember. Yeah, 2007. So
okay.
Yep, so, Macarena.
Yeah, so it was already 4 years old, so it's already at the point of being annoying, and you just gave it to a surfer to play in a loop as he's riding through the universe. He's going to be back with Galactus to destroy Earth. Thanks a lot, Doctor Strange.
It was 14 years old. Came out in 93, and this is 07.
Okay. All right, sorry, I was thinking 03. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
In my head, I heard 3, 7, and I didn't add the other digits.
It's okay. So that was nice. It was a beautiful gesture. It was a fun way to integrate other characters, and I was like, oh, cool. There's like a bros between the doctors, and they try to solve stuff. But then after that, he starts his journey, I believe, across the galaxy to Zenla, right?
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about the way the story was written in this was as he's leaving on that last panel, that's when he says, now I'm going off to die, to die, to die. And I'm like, was that supposed to be a surprise to us? Because they actually never said that he was going to die until that panel, like it was some kind of a great reveal.
Oh.
I mean, it was kind of implied, but you're like, no, it can't mean that. It can't possibly mean that. He's just going to lose his power. No, he's actually going to die. I got that right away. Because if he was just going to lose his power, Sue wouldn't have been crying.
Right. I mean, clearly, I forgot that was the first time they said he's going to die. He's going to die because I assumed it. They had already said it. So, anyway, that's how book 2, I want to say, wraps up.
I thought it was book 1.
Who knows?
I don't remember now. It's all together as one story.
Yeah, it's all a very pink, magenta, white splotch. And that's the best part of the problem with the art, too, is like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and all them. They had all this like weird hue to them, like that didn't make them stand out very much. Anyway,
Yeah.
I've harped on it too much. So he begins his trip back to Zenla across the galaxy, and he comes across
A religious war.
Yeah, that's been going on for
generations and
50 generations, he said.
Yeah, there you go.
And I actually really liked this because when they're talking to these two leaders of these warring factions were together on a ship, and they called him in to speak with him. So that they were speaking with him, and he eventually they came up like, how long have you been fighting this? Mm-hmm. And they were like, well, time differs between solar systems and galaxies and stuff, so it's hard to say, but let's just say it's been for 50 generations. And I really appreciated them acknowledging that. Like, I've read other books where they're like, oh, it's been 6 years, and I was and they're in space, and I'm like, well, 6 Earth years, 6, whatever. I love that they acknowledged that there was a difference there. So he's talking to these two leaders.
Yeah, and it's funny is because they said they were on adjacent, like you said, on adjacent planets in the solar system. They knew of each other, and once they were able to monitor each other's communications, they didn't have the technology to actually visit each other, but they saw that they believed in different gods. And that's it, you believe in a different god, we must eliminate them. I'm like, oh wow, we're back with the Inquisition here. This is great.
Once we couldn't convince them to believe that they were wrong, and they had to believe in ours, and furthermore that they thought theirs were the best.
Yeah,
which was even more insulting, was the line, I believe.
Well, now we have to kill them.
We have to kill them. I'm sorry.
And since our temple never gets even slightly damaged, that proves that our God is the real one. But since their temple doesn't get damaged, they have the blasphemy to say that theirs is the right one.
Right. And I was like, oh, this is too real.
Yeah. I guess sounds like the Middle East, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that more people on Earth alone have been killed in the name of which God you believe than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, going forward, it's going to be resources, but geez. But unlike humanity, this is where their two civilizations, prove that they were better than humanity. Silver Surfer got rid of all their weapons, then went and destroyed both their temples.
Let's back up real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
They were talking on the ship, and they were like, we're just up here. We're beyond fighting.
Yeah, that's for the commoners.
Yeah, they were like, they should talk to the Silver Surfer. So here we are talking, and he was like, what do you want me to do? And they were like, nothing. We just told them we would talk to you, so we did.
Yeah, kind of like the leaders of our world.
And I was like, what the fuck? And did I see right that ship exploded? Or I can't remember. Either way, they died.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end they were talking about how he goes out and he just jacks up all the shit. He destroys all of the naval ships and basically takes out everything. And then he goes and tells these people, he's like, listen, your leaders have been doing this shit. you've been fighting for 50 generations, so much bloodshed for nothing. I can tell you that there is no, I forget what he said. Essentially, there's nothing out there beyond the cosmos that you need to worry about, right?
Yeah, I mean, but again, he blows up both their temples to show them. They thought that while our temple is standing, that shows our God is real and all powerful. So
Yes.
Surfer went bang bang. No, they're not.
True. Good.
But that ended all hostilities between the two planets, and they lived in peace beyond that. And the only the only thing that they built was a joint collaboration statue of the Silver Surfer with his board to remind them, if it weren't for him, we would not have peace here.
Yeah.
So he made peace on 2 planets by one action that was simple to him in comparison to what he tried to do on Earth by giving everybody a portion of the power cosmic so they could see infinity. And it didn't change humanity, but he goes over there and takes their weapons away and says, hey, knock it off, and they do.
Maybe he should have done that here.
Yeah. We would just make more.
Yeah. But that was cool. It was cool to see. I liked that little side adventure.
Yeah. And when the naval ships were shooting at him, it was hurting him only because he was weak. It was showing that he was weakening at this point.
That's right. The line was something along the lines of they were terrified and didn't think they could hurt him, even though they actually were, or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. But he just pushed through it, and he just went Super Saiyan and was like, ah! And destroyed everything. Except him would be like, oh, because there's no emotion.
Yeah, since he's on a surfboard, I swear every time I read Norrin Rad Silver Surfer lines, it always comes out like Keanu Reeves in my head.
Really?
Yeah, it's like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like you gotta throw the word "dude" in there, you know.
Funny.
Dude, I'm the herald for Galactus. I'm just surfing, dude. Jeff Spicoli, as a Silver Surfer.
For me, it's more like Galactus, the herald, talks like this. I don't know. Very short, monotone. Blah. We leave the warring, now the peaceful factions.
Mm-hmm.
And is this the point where he gets back to Zenla eventually?
It's a tremendous distance that he's flying at full speed, even though it's hurting him as much as possible, but he knows he's running out of time, so he gets back to Zenla.
Yes.
It kind of crashes.
Yeah, and he's starting to show his armor is starting to I don't know.
It kind of reminded me of when Venom gets hit with loud noises and starts to fall off of a person.
Yeah, starts to reveal his fleshy body underneath slowly. Yeah. And immediately his wife, I guess, finds him, or his love.
Yeah, and that bothers me in movies and comics and everything else, is whenever somebody lands on a planet, they always seem to land within a 3-block radius of where they want to be.
Yeah, if somebody, let's say Superman landed in the middle of Montana, in the woods, that would be tough.
Well, I mean, the first movie that just jumped out at me, and it was because I was a little kid, Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Luke lands on Dagobah, literally within walking distance of Yoda's house.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to think about the size of Earth. Okay, we're not a large planet, but let's just say the size of Earth. Somebody coming in and just arbitrarily landing somewhere on the planet and being within walking distance of your house.
Let me ask you this, though. I don't recall it super specifically. Did he have any idea where he was going once he entered the atmosphere?
Whom?
Luke in the X-Wing.
There you will. You will go to the Dagobah system. There you will meet Yoda, the Jedi Master that instructed me. So maybe the Force guided him, but I mean, it's just something in general that when something happens, it's very convenient that it always lands right there.
Yeah, that's true.
And you'll be noticing that from every time you see a movie now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, come on, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. You saw that?
Yeah.
I shoot down a drone 30,000 feet in the air, and it just happens to land on the police cars that are blocking the path. Come on.
Yeah, I guess you could consider that lazy writing at points.
But everybody does it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's a trope.
Yep. There you go. So his wife finds him.
So his wife finds him.
Continue. Go ahead. I was just trying to get us back on track.
And they're saying, "Oh, I miss you. I love you." Exchanges. And while they're doing that, I guess lead scientist comes up and he's like, "Hey, we can't do anything. We don't have anything." And his wife is like, "Listen, you can take."
Some of the power cosmic you gave me before you left.
Right.
Or you gave me one time before.
And the doctor's like, "I don't even know if that'll work. And whether or not it does, it might even kill you." And she was like, "I don't care. I'll give my life." And eventually Norin Rad is like, "Listen, I came back because I wanted to see that you were alive and thriving and doing well. You wouldn't take that away from me, would you?" And I was like, damn, he's going to put it on like that. A dying man, what are you going to say? Yeah, I am going to take that away from you.
It's like a dying man. It's like, can I have one of those cookies, please? Sorry, we're saving those for the funeral.
So, I guess she complies, and people start lining up, and they start having like almost like when the president or a senator or a president passes away, they put him in the rotunda.
Yeah.
And you get lines and lines of people paying their respects, except he's alive, so he's holding their hand for a moment, and I guess he's passing along a tiny ounce of the power cosmic to each one because they each get a little like illuminating tattoo on their palm of their hand.
Yeah, I kind of picture it like a little tiny infinity stone almost.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a mood ring.
I'm pissed. And
for those of you on the podcast, you really should tune into the YouTube video and just see the face he just made when he did that.
I'm horny.
When aren't you?
So he imbues that for everyone, and
isn't that when Galactus arrives?
Yes. Yep. Galactus comes, and the scientists are like, we're intercepting this broadcast that's broadcasting on every known frequency that we use, and it's saying, come
get over here.
Yeah. Come forth, Norin Rad.
Yeah.
And so two people, like a football player injured on the field, they walk him off on their strength because he can't walk at this point. And then they're just like, fuck! And then the art shows them like running away, and he's like falling down because Galactus is there then.
Yeah.
And Galactus is a big boy, so he's scary. And then this was a real curveball for me, this whole part here, because I never thought Galactus would have any kind of emotion. And basically it came down to Galactus knew about his armor was failing and that his health was failing, and he was like sad for him.
He actually had respect for a lesser being.
For like the first time, I think.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know if I can help you, but I can try. And he started to do it, and then I think he was like, no, don't do it, right?
Yeah. It's funny because this marks twice that people are like, I think I could save you. I was like, no. I'm really okay with the idea of dying. So just let me die already. I'm done.
Yeah, I think he was at peace with, like, it gave him a finality or something. It makes things sweeter when there's an end to it.
But he also kind of, he kind of spoke with the people and with Galactus and said that this is now your home. So it kind of solidified the fact that, look, even though I'm dying, he's not going to destroy your planet because it's his planet now, too. So you guys have to be okay with him. You're okay with him. I'm creating peace one more time. Anytime, Galactus, you just need to get away and have a giant big old plate of buffalo wings made for you or something like that. You just come on down here, Zenla, and we'll have Galactus Week and, set up little tents around you and have a grand time and, sit around the campfire and tell stories about how you killed billions of people.
Right.
Later.
There was one line that I really liked in that interaction was something along the lines of, for the first time, the people of Zenla and Galactus looked at each other without the fear of, I don't know, death or danger between them or something. It was a really nice line. I forgot what it was. But that was interesting that he was then accepted as like a member of Zenla, which he was out to destroy at the beginning. So
yeah, and it was nothing personal. It was just business.
Hungry business.
Yep.
Fava beans.
I'd be more concerned with the fact that I was standing underneath Galactus and the dude's wearing a kilt. But all right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I can make some comments and I would get in trouble, so I'll shut up.
Go watch The Boys. So at the very end, his lover asks if she can speak to Galactus, and he was like, "Speak." So he like she whispers to him, I guess, and
I shall do so, or I will do.
Yeah. Your wish is my command.
Yeah, genie.
So then he takes Norin Rad's body upwards, and then it skyrockets into the sky, and he becomes a star, and he becomes essentially like the North Star for us, always visible from
the
everywhere
dark side, from the
dark
side of
side.
the planet.
So you can always shed light on that side, and
Right.
provide a North Star for people. And I proceeded to cry.
Did you really?
No.
Okay. And there was also a constellation which looked like the surfer on a board.
Beautiful.
Yep.
And that was it, right?
Yeah, and apparently this star was so bright that the people on Earth were able to see it as well.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, okay. So that pretty much is it. It was the death of Norin Rad, which, by the way, let me know that Norin Rad died. I didn't know, and I didn't. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. That's probably an Elseworld, not Elseworlds. That's DC. That's probably a non-616 story, I assume.
Or possibly the Silver Surfer we know now is not Norin Rad.
Could be. Yeah.
Again, it's not a character that I really read, so.
How many Hang 10s out of Hang 10s would you give it?
5.5.
Ooh.
I wasn't crazy about the storyline. I thought it was okay. The artwork was substandard to me. But the first page, when I saw all the text in blocks, I'm like, oh no, not another one of these kind of stories. Which it wasn't. Well, I'm glad about that. And instead of us getting the same rehashing at the beginning of each book that they did a lot of during that time, it was it actually just got longer.
Oh, yeah.
So all you had to do was just like read the last paragraph to know.
Previously.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
So story-wise, you could tell this is the point where they were starting to turn the corner on how they wrote books. But the story was okay. It didn't pull any emotion out of me, and I wasn't crazy about the artwork, but
Okay.
it went by quick. It was a decent story. Not, just 5 is where like anything below 5 I dislike. Anything above a 5 is okay. So it's just slightly above the Mason-Dixon line there.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Wow. Okay. You liked it.
Yeah. Let me adjust that. I'll give it a 7.5.
Yeah, you can give it a 12 for all I care.
No, I know. I'm going to give it a 7.5 because I really didn't. The artwork didn't do it for me. That
Okay.
takes a half off for me. But I did get it. I got sucked into it, and I don't know. I like to read. I like to read comics with music, and I just searched on YouTube like epic space music.
Okay.
And I listened to it while I was reading, and that just really like, I guess helped set the mood for me. Mm-hmm, and I really got invested in it, and I was hanging on every word.
You got me thinking about a certain set of music. Go ahead. I'm going to type. So
Sure.
Go ahead.
I liked it a lot, and I don't know if you want whatever you want to say, fell hook, line, and sinker for the explanation of humanity and why we're warring with each other and comparisons to the galaxy where the two warring factions were, and I fell for all of it. I liked it all, and I was like, yeah.
Well, I've been
so true, and
I've been thinking about the problems of humanity for a really long time. So,
well, yeah, I guess so. But it was cool, man. I don't know. I was visualizing through space, and I liked the twist with Galactus at the end, caring for. To me, and I don't have a lot of exposure to Galactus, but to me, Galactus is almost a emotionless monster that just absorbs and whatever. So to have him be like, I'm kind of bummed you're dying. Let me try to fix you.
You're the noblest person I've ever met.
Yeah, that was really cool and unexpected for me. So the other stuff, that was, yeah.
What I was looking up is you like to listen to music sometimes when you read.
Yeah.
Next time you're reading something with a space flair, you should put on Gustav Holst, The Planets.
Okay.
He's a composer that wrote this a little over 100 years ago, and a lot of people think that he was the inspiration for a lot of the stuff that John Williams did.
Oh,
but he did one musical composure for each of the planets.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and they're really cool to listen to, and they definitely do scream what you would think 1918's thought line would be of space.
That's exciting.
Gustav Holst, Holst, The Planets. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Cool.
Another service that brought to you here by Timo Hahn. You never thought you'd be getting recommendations on which composers of classical music to listen to.
From over 100 years ago.
Yes.
Well, at this point, I think we're done talking about Silver Surfer. Shall we discuss what we're reading next week?
Which for a change, we know in advance.
Boom!
Yes, please. Go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be reading the story of Kraven's Last Hunt that spans the 3 Spider-Man books.
Yes.
Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and Spectacular Spider-Man.
That's correct. It will be Kraven going from supermarket to supermarket trying to find the freshest smoked Gouda. And
yes.
It's very difficult, to... Oh, wait, no, that's not it. Sorry.
Have you read any of this?
No.
Okay, cool.
I've never read. I never read a story about a man in a loincloth. I didn't read Tarzan. I didn't read Kraven. I didn't read Kazar.
So I'm excited for this. This is an iconic story arc.
Yep.
Again, never really read. I know who Kraven is. Never really read anything about him. I'm sure this will piss me off when I learn about what Kraven's going to be in the Sonyverse. So, but that's good. Humans like to be pissed off and do war, apparently. So
yes, it's in our nature.
So I'm excited. That was another suggestion by Stinker Buns. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, absolutely.
If you want to make a suggestion and vote on what we do read and do for our channel in general, head over to patreon.com/TimoHana, and we'll see you there. But I think that's about it, right?
That's it. Absolutely. Bring us home.
We got to get us over to HBO and catch the finale of The Last of Us. Ooh.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Until we see you next time, family, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, share it with your friends and family, and we'll see you on the next episode. Mahalo.